Well, can I say on camera? The new stadium is sick. Tom was giving me a little tour.
Could you look into camera A as you say?
This is me right here.
This is like
This is me right here.
Yeah.
I'm Matthew Jordan, and I endorse the new stadium. Is it the new stadium or just new stadium? There's no the, right? Drop the. Just new stadium.
Yeah,
it's cleaner.
Exactly.
Cleaner.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you say the Mandarin or Mandarin?
To refer to the all-you-can-eat Chinese restaurant, just Mandarin.
Really?
All that you want, Mandarin. They got a good jingle.
Holy
See,
shit,
dude, when you have a jingle, everything changes.
all that you want.
Unreal
Holy
jingle.
shit.
Are we getting this live? By the way, this is unreal.
Yeah, don't worry.
This is crazy discourse.
I'm capturing all of this.
All that you want, Mandarin.
Why do you have such
It's not.
a nice voice?
It's not
You
the
sing
Mandarin, by the way.
It
Is
is
this water
Mandarin,
like fresh?
I
What
told
the
No,
you.
fuck
it's
is
really, honestly, I told Tommy, some of the best water I've had in recent memory. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding.
Damn, what the fuck are you drinking, man?
Straight from the
No,
fridge.
dude, whatever temp you got that fridge at, let me get that fridge temp off you because that was a crazy temperature.
Really?
Just really effective.
Do you think that's the key thing, the temperature of the water? Really effective.
I think it's like a combination of, I think whatever, we got to get it, like this is, now we get into my kind of thing, 'cause it's like, what filtration plant are y'all getting that? You know what I mean? Like, is that
Really?
the
You're
RC
like
Harris?
that?
Because like the mineral composition of the pipes that brought the water
Oh,
to the new
shit.
stadium sink could have a role to play.
What's the best water you've ever had?
Washington, D.C.
Really?
hotel. Yeah.
Hotel.
So I'm serious.
Is it
Me and
Like,
my
what was
family,
it? How would you describe it?
me and my family when I was in high
Okay, I'm
school.
gonna try and go live now.
That was sick.
Are we? Like you have the?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. What?
Where go?
Oh, sick. Yeah, no, me and my family, high school, trip to Washington, D.C. We had that diplomat water.
Diplomat water?
Like that, we were like, this is the water that they save for the ambassador. You know what I mean? Like
damn.
that
Yeah,
Washington.
like to make a good impression.
For sure. Like this is that senator water. You know when like Mark Zuckerberg is in the Senate hearings, you know, Sam
Yeah,
Altman,
and
they
he
bring
says-
him that water. That's a good looking glass of water.
It is.
We had
It
that
is.
water.
The senator.
Wow.
That senator water, you know?
How would you describe the taste?
I don't like notes of berry.
I'm not gonna lie. This smells disgusting.
Are you serious right
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
Maybe you just have more refined palate than me.
Maybe you're not.
Like you're detecting pH levels that I can't even.
I like water with high pH. That's
I-
great. Right?
I don't-
That's
I
like
don't-
low acidity.
I
right?
don't even know. Like
I don't even know.
in terms of the potassium content, what are you?
Are you sure you're
Just
smelling
like
the water?
give me a number.
This is like the acidity. Sorry, the acidity of this water is. This is like undrinkable.
Maybe we should get like 4 different waters. Are you an Evian guy? What are you, a
Should I?
Dasani guy? Like
I'm a Essentia.
I don't know. Can we pull up
Yeah,
Essentia?
Essentia.
I don't even know what that is.
How do you spell that?
ESSENTI. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, never heard of that.
So I always see you with these bottles.
Oh,
Yeah.
those.
You never asked me.
Yeah.
No, I just know that you drink these.
What is that?
Have a-
Swiss? What is that? The Swiss flag over there?
I don't know what that is.
Do you see what I'm saying? Can we pull up the Swiss flag?
Yeah, it might be.
Can we pull up the Swiss flag?
I think that's. Oh,
Do you see what I'm saying? Can we pull up the Essentia and then the Swiss flag? Because that looks to me like a. Do you know what I'm saying? Or maybe it's color inverted.
it's close. Oh, it's definitely inspired by it.
But
Do
because
they have
Swiss,
really good water
The
there?
Swiss Alps have the best.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
Have
Look
the
at
best.
their slogan:
What's their slogan?
overachieving H2O.
Do you think they have a jingle?
No.
See, that's the problem.
Yeah.
How would that go?
Is this a website?
Yeah.
Can you click that link? Whoa,
See, I
they
just
have
feel
Jimmy
like-
Butler.
Wait,
Oh
Wow.
shit!
Who's
That's
this?
sick. Who's Jimmy Butler?
Who's Jimmy Butler?
He's an awesome
He's a-
basketball player.
Should I play this?
Sure.
The thing is, they're not drinking this actually on the sidelines.
You don't know.
They're drinking, well, do you think they're shipping in water to these NBA games? Like bottled?
I don't know. The water's really good.
The Essentia water.
Yeah. Like it's really fucking good. Like I always have these.
Really?
Yeah. Like I this is the main water that I drink.
He literally always has a bottle with him.
Wow.
Not today though. I'm out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's the problem, right?
Low
You
supply.
Gotta, you gotta
You
go.
sponsored?
I should get sponsored by this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to. But the thing with this water is that the pH level is very high. That's why I got it initially. So what I did was I went to the grocery store and I bought all the waters with high pH, and then I tried them.
Okay.
So I got like this and Flow. I think it comes in like a carton, and and then I got this.
Right, the Flow carton. I had a water that had so many disclaimers on it. It was like 0 alkaline, 0 thing, recyclable container, 7p. It was like the entire. What's that?
Disclaimers?
The entire can was like information.
Really?
And I was like,
remember
bro,
what it's
this is
called?
water. We're talking about water.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a bit much for me.
Yeah, but I wonder how much it actually makes a difference.
My gut
Yeah.
inclination is that it makes no difference whatsoever.
Really?
And that you're fine just drinking tap.
You think so?
But I don't know. I'm not a connoisseur like you are.
No, I'm not either, but
I'm not a man of taste.
Yeah.
You know,
I think like the pH level has to make a difference, because like if you're drinking something with a high pH, isn't that like reducing the overall acidity in your body if you're constantly
we're moving so whoa. Did you make that?
The logo?
What's that?
What?
This right here.
That's our logo.
That's our little.
Really?
That's our little transition card.
You got a new one?
Yeah, we got a new we got a new logo.
You can't just throw that on me. You know when someone when you hang with the homie and they get a haircut. You know when your boyfriend gets a haircut without warning you. You know what I'm saying? And then you see them, you're like, whoa! You can't just spring that on me, dude.
My bad. I was gonna look up.
Yeah, I don't know if you can zoom in on it, but the little
What's in the
circle at the bottom.
what's in the corner there?
I don't know if
We're
I can.
experimenting, but it's actually, if you look, you can't see, but it's actually another logo.
Oh my god!
That's like the jingle.
It's two. Yeah,
I'm
that's our
overwhelmed.
visual. Like that's our visual jingle.
Can I look to camera? Am I right here?
Yeah.
You're on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I freaking love the little jingles, the like new demos,
Oh,
new
yeah.
stadium, new works. Those little animations with the sound,
Yeah.
that stuff goes so hard.
Thanks, man. So that's done by an art director and animator named Marvin Lau. He's
Sick.
done some cool stuff. Worked with some amazing artists, and I think he's a genius.
Yeah.
Like I think he's like an actual. I don't know if he would like that me saying that, but I think I'm like, it's
You
cool
can't,
working.
Can't throw the G word around like
Yeah, I know.
so flippant, you know.
Yeah, but it's like it's cool because it's like I'm like actually a really big fan of his work.
It's
like
awesome.
like actually as a fan though.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You know, I fan out on that guy's work, and like to just, I'm always so curious. Like every time his name pops up on my phone and he has like some new file or something, I'm just like, holy shit, like what is it gonna be? You know?
Yeah.
He's just he's just really, really, really talented. Why do you like wires? What is this wires thing?
I'm on a bit of a wire kick right now.
Yeah, like what do you mean?
You just stand on a street corner.
Mm-hmm.
You look up, look down. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
You just look at all the cameras, all the lights, all the cables, all the boxes. There's like, right, let's just take a street corner in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking about? Telephone cables, streetcar wires, internet cables,
Mm-hmm.
traffic cameras, traffic lights. Let's take a look at this. Come on now.
That's a lot of wires.
Where's that all
Whoa.
going? Where's that all being rerouted? That's streetcar. That's just streetcar infrastructure, by the way. That's just one thing. That picture. That's just the streetcar.
We got wires like.
Look at that. That's telephone.
Mm-hmm.
But most intersections have all of them, and they're all routed via like one box on the side of the road
Really?
that you don't even notice. Look at that picture. Open up that picture. Blow up that. Can we get that photo blown up? Just the one you have open right now.
Oh.
Can we zoom in on that? Yeah, or maybe not. Maybe.
Yeah, I got you.
Ooh. Let's zoom into the bottom right corner. See that box that's painted where the fire hydrant is?
Oh,
Right
that
beside the
green
fire?
thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's where all the wires run through there.
All of it?
Yeah.
Like
Toronto was
even multifunction, like it's a multifunctional housing?
Correct. That's correct.
Wow.
So, but also below your feet. The internet is a physical place.
Right.
And the internet runs in wires and cables. When you're looking at a grate on the ground, how do you know if below there is carrying sewage water or internet cables?
Mm-hmm.
Different grates are hiding different things. Toronto was the first city on earth to ever have automated traffic lights.
Really?
Where the length of time of the traffic light was based on the number of cars waiting, as opposed to being on a fixed schedule.
Oh.
So every intersection, they put sensors there. It's in the 60s. They put sensors there, and all of the information from all of these sensors had to count the number of cars, in each direction, and then it would be timed algorithmically to switch the light based on the number of cars waiting. All of that sensor information was then channeled to a massive supercomputer located inside of Old City Hall in a big glass fishbowl to keep it cool. And then that information would get sent to that computer and then sent back out. This is like 1960s where a computer is the size of a building. And so ever since then, just a proliferation of wires. And there's telephone cables all over the city, internet cables. It's everywhere. Once you start noticing it, it's kind of unavoidable. So I've been prepping basically. Mm-hmm. There's an organizer, or there's a group in New York City who does something called Walking the Internet that I really like.
Walking the Internet?
Walking the Internet, where you basically, Laurel Schwolst, shout out Laurel.
I think I know that person.
She's a legend.
I've come across their work, I mean.
Yeah, so you can right under all of those grates, the internet is down there. So we're going to do some of that in Toronto later this summer.
That's really cool. Wow. I would always look at the wires and kind of because it's it's just so there. And I would just look at them and kind of dismiss it and take it out of my head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a lot of visual noise.
It's a burden. It's a burden to live with the responsibility of noticing everything. Mm. You know what I mean?
It's a great power.
I wish I could turn it off.
Do you notice a lot of things?
Once I start noticing, it's hard not. Look at that one. Look at that one beside the one you've got clicked. Look at that. Come on now. Look at
that's
this.
Crazy.
Every intersection looks like this. But part of this is surveillance. When I say surveillance, I mean cameras that are filming you on the street.
Really?
So that if there's, criminal activity or whatever, traffic violations, you're being filmed, you're being monitored. There's so much happening. It's actually a miracle that any of it works, frankly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because it's so complex. But every intersection, every part of the street, every part of the city, this is why I spent a year. My motto was the ground is a social construct.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at, they open up the ground to do water main maintenance, and you realize everything below the ground is like a thin layer. You feel like you're standing on the solid earth when you're walking through the city, but there's subway on, they've carved all of that out and then rebuilt the ground on top of it because there's hydroelectric infrastructure down there. There's water infrastructure, sewage, etc. So the whole enterprise is wires all the way down, cables, pipes, the whole, it's a vastly.
You said it was a social construct?
I just mean that to say that the ground is not as real as it seems. It's like money, it's only real because we think it's real. It's that's the ground, right? It only exists because we have the collective belief it exists. But if we stop believing in it, it ceased to exist tomorrow.
Who manages all these wires? How?
I think it's most of them are the city of Toronto. But there's also private, public. Some of that is Beanfield.
Oh yeah, that company.
Not sponsored.
Crazy. Yeah.
What is Beanfield?
Don't be giving Beanfield free advertising here.
I kind of just like their logo.
Yeah, they got a cool logo. Hey, there's another one called Rabbit. Can you look up? Porter Airlines, Billy Bishop Airport is fully. Look up Billy Bishop Airport on Wikipedia. It's fully renewable.
Really?
Whoa.
All of the or maybe look up hydro or something like that. All of the electricity in Billy Bishop or in the tunnel, the tunnel between the mainland.
I love that tunnel.
They built that in 2015. That's a pretty recent tunnel. That's a 35 meter deep tunnel.
Wait, that was in 2015?
Yeah, it's pretty recent. It used to only be a ferry.
Do you know what we're talking about?
It was called the world's shortest ferry ride. It came every 15 minutes between the airport and the thing. What, the ferry?
Yeah.
Before the tunnel.
Yeah, because I would take a lot of flights from Billy Bishop, every few weeks.
This place is sick.
How do you feel about turning Billy Bishop into a massive park? getting rid of the airport. That's part of that's a potential.
Really?
Yeah.
I think having an airport there is really useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can just go there, hop on a flight to like New York City or something.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's what I do. But a
park, like what would it be? You would walk underground.
Well, the problem is that the downtown is just going to have so many buildings, right? If you look at the Toronto skyline and pick any two buildings, in between those two buildings, there will be a new building in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And all those buildings will have people in them. And all those people need somewhere to go.
Yeah.
And Trinity Bellwoods on a Saturday is teeming with people. And the ferry to the island is already too busy. And people if you go to any of these festivals, Due West Fest, Little Italy, all of the free outdoor movies, Toronto Outdoor Picture Show, Jane's Walk, Doors Open, the city cannot sustain the like demand people have for doing outdoor activities, which is amazing. The people of Toronto really want to do stuff.
Yeah.
So we have this huge amount of land on this island could be this like unbelievable public space, but it's taken up by an airport. And so the idea is like the number of people who use that airport is not that big. There's pretty good connectivity to Pearson through the Up Express. The like set of people who live downtown, like you and me, who like fly to New York, really like having Billy Bishop. Oh, my bad. Shut up, Mississauga.
Shout out Mississauga. So
you're even closer to what's going on here. Oh yeah,
here. Okay, so
Bullfrog Power. Yeah, check that out. Bullfrog Power.
Bullfrog Power.
That's like
let's
they
read this for a second.
Oh yeah,
it says Billy Bishop Toronto City Airport does run entirely off renewable energy since 2010. Billy Bishop Toronto City Airport has used 100% renewable energy from Bullfrog Power to power all its operations. Everything from moving sidewalks in the pedestrian tunnel to the airfield lights to powering the 100% electric Maryland Bell Ferry, even the ferry.
There you go.
So all of the operations essentially.
Shut up, Billy Bishop.
Of it, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Getting rid of like a fully sustainable airport for a park, I don't know.
Yeah, tough. You know what's not renewable? Brampton. I've heard a lot of concerns about the environmental impacts of large language models. I don't want to put you on blast, but it's something to think about.
We have people working on it.
Okay. Just want to make sure it's something that's on your radar.
How do you figure out like what's happening in the city? Like how do you get to the pulse of it? Like you mentioned that like there's a lot of people in the park and like do you like walk around here a lot? Because like you're doing like walking tours.
I walk everywhere. Yeah. I only walk.
Yeah, and then you just observe things. Is that like where? Yeah, like where do you get your ideas from, in terms of like patterns and things you're observing? Because,
about Toronto.
Yeah,
or just in general.
Yeah, well, I guess in Toronto first, because you seem to have these interesting observations.
I walk everywhere.
Like the wires thing.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Like on the totally concrete level, how did that happen? Two things happened. Number one, I saw a poster at the university where I'm doing my PhD on the wall that says walking the internet. And immediately I was like, whatever that is, that's sick.
Yeah.
Just that combination of words, walking the internet. I was like, that's dope. I already knew I had a big internet cable phase. You know about the underwater internet cables?
No.
Tommy, can we pull up the sub-oceanic internet cables?
Underwater.
Right. So the internet is a physical thing, right?
Yes.
And the internet has to be transported. All that information, all that fiber optic signal. Can we get a map of the world? Yeah. So all the fiber optic information is being carried on physical wires across the internet, across the ocean.
Who created this?
This is like a global consortium of internet service providers and governments that are maintaining this infrastructure.
That's amazing.
And it's like, on a global macroeconomic geopolitical level, this is like highly sensitive. This is the kind of thing where governments would sever some of these cables if they want to provoke a war.
You
right?
think so?
For example, so this is like geopolitically sensitive stuff.
I wonder how many failure points there are.
I think there's a lot of redundancies, but sometimes if your internet is slow, it's literally because the whatever transatlantic sea cable has like an issue in it, for sure.
Really?
And there was a really amazing article that was published a couple years ago about the people who work on the ships that maintain these cables. I mean, it's kind of scary work, and the labor conditions are pretty tough. But yeah, interesting. Anyway, the internet is very much a physical place. So when I I knew about already.
Yeah.
I had a bit of a phase because I went through a huge. I studied math and physics in my undergrad.
Wow.
And I got really into the first transatlantic telephone cable.
Yeah.
Which was like in the 1860s. We pull up the first transatlantic telephone cable, and I went to the Science Museum in London to go see the first Lord Kelvin. And then it's just rocket ship emoji from there.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you're looking and you're realizing that so much of the way that the world works is because people have created these kind of like layers of infrastructure that we kind of live on top of.
Exactly. And so none of it is, all of it's designed. You know what I mean? None of this just happens. Like someone has to go lay a cable underneath the Atlantic Ocean between Newfoundland and the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
And you have to like go on a ship and do that physically. And that is not easy. And so like we are living, and I think Toronto is an amazing place because it's so layered. It's like on the one hand, at the kind of, you know, Western governmental political level, very new as a city. It's also very old in terms of how long humans have been here, geologically very old. So there's so much, the layering is just crazy. And the speed at which the city changes is just insane. Mm-hmm. So we are living on top of all of these infrastructural and technological changes in immediate rapid succession to each other. And sometimes they all are just stacked on top of each other, like at any one of these intersections where you see the telephone cables and the internet cables and the video surveillance and the traffic lights and the streetcar cables. It's all just there. Mm-hmm. And so you can just witness all of it. Toronto's a great place to study a lot of this stuff.
What is the process of like, let's say you want to understand like a forest or something like that, and you have to like break it down into like layers, like, okay, this is like the soil, these are the trees are coming. It's kind of like that, right? You're understanding it as this kind of like continuously evolving living environment. Yeah.
Can we pull up pace layering? How buildings learn? Are you familiar with this? I've
heard of that expression, how buildings learn.
Yeah, so this is, can you click the one that's the building?
What is this thing?
Yeah, let's go back to that. So this is the original. Let's go back to the house. Yeah, let me explain it. Let's go back to the house.
This is Stewart Brand, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
This initially came from this book, How Buildings Learn, which is...
Who wrote that again?
This is Stewart Brand.
Yeah.
There's the idea that there's like the site, you can see the really solid black line at the bottom. The site at which the building is, like that's solid. That is the ground. That is the earth. That is old. That doesn't change. And then you can go all the way into the stuff. Right, the lamps and the phone chargers, that's inside of the building. Mm-hmm. That can change just like that overnight. So you go from this like super solid, multi-generational nature, like don't mess with it. You know, you alter this at your own peril kind of, the stuff that kind of holds the lessons, you know, the stuff that has a memory. That's the site. Then the building, the structure, the skin, that stuff is changeable, but on a much slower time scale. Building a building is hard, takes time, and you're kind of making decisions. And then all the way into the stuff that changes rapidly. But you can extend this all the way out to...
So wait, let me just make sure I understand.
Go ahead.
So here what's happening is that the person, this diagram is breaking down a structure into like, it's like kind of like components in some way, and then using arrows to signify the rate of change of each of the components. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And so it's saying like, hey, the stuff inside of a structure is like constantly changing. There's like that couch is over there. You switch the couch. Exactly. Maybe like the supplies that you use through the day to day, and then the space plan is like the configuration of the space. This place is going to be for hanging out. This area is going to be for like focused work. This area is going to be for like sleeping. Okay. So the idea here is that a structure has layers, and each one of those layers has a pace of change.
100%.
Okay, so let's go to the pace layering thing.
But now we can apply this to like society as a whole.
Okay.
So I come back to this diagram all the time where it's like, you know, geology, nature. That's what really unlocked Toronto for me. I've kind of made it my whole brand by accident, but like that was not, you know, I'm into all of it. Yeah. But kind of unlocking the nature piece really opened my eyes to something, because Toronto changes so much That it's like, what is the ground? What can
Is
you
that
even?
why you started there
What's that?
in nature?
I didn't start there. I mean, I was living in Toronto, and I was like, I really was asking when you asked on the fundamental level, what is Toronto?
Yeah.
When I moved, so I grew up in Thornhill.
Yeah.
Shout out Thornhill.
Shout out
Shout out
Thornhill.
Vaughan.
Shout out Vaughn.
Shout out Markham, by the way.
Shout out Tim Hortons parking lots.
Shout out Tim Hortons. Do you have a particular one in mind? No, just in general.
I feel like the ones in Vaughan are pretty good, no?
Yeah. I do. What's your favorite Vaughan?
Markham Park.
What's Claude's favorite parking lot?
Hold
Tim
on,
Hortons
I gotta
parking
use the
lot in
washroom while you
Vaughan.
look this up.
All right,
Oh, this is a good intermission.
all right. Maybe I should just monologue. Can you ask Claude what its favorite Vaughan
Yeah, I can ask.
Tim Hortons parking lot is?
I sure can. Hey, Claude.
I made my first business deal at a Tim Hortons parking lot in Vaughan.
What was your first business deal in a Tim Hortons parking lot in Vaughan?
No, that's not true.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I've never made any business deals. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Where'd you make your first business deal?
That's a good question. I'm trying to recall.
There's just been so many.
Yeah, we've been doing business for a while.
Tommy, I can't even. Do you get a camera or no?
No, we couldn't. the engineers couldn't figure out where to put it.
Tough.
We're working on it.
Tough.
We're working on it. Hey, Claude, what is your favorite Tim Hortons Vaughan parking lot?
Oh, you're asking Claude with voice.
No, I'm not. I'm just reading what I typed. Claude says, I don't have personal experiences or the ability to visit physical locations like Tim Hortons parking lots.
Well, don't ask what its favorite one is, but what's the best one objectively?
Oh, okay, what's the best one? You're right. That's a way better question.
Or like, please rank the 5 best. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, come on.
Here we go.
That seems like a
no.
interesting. We've really hit a limit here.
Let me start.
The like safety team at Anthropic. Do you think there's something that like there's maybe like sensitive nuclear information? Claude is refusing to answer the question of what are the best Tim Hortons parking lots in Vaughan, and I'm wondering if because can I look to camera?
Yeah.
My friend Logan works at the safety team at Anthropic. We're having a bit of an issue here getting Claude to tell us the 5 best parking lots.
I don't think it can because I just don't think it doesn't know. I think it's just such a random question.
Here we go. We got it. We got him.
That's so funny.
It's tough because it's not like a lot for me.
Yeah.
A lot of what makes a Tim Hortons parking lot good is just the cars. So you know what I mean. But let's go. Oh yeah, I guess we can just wait for this.
Sorry.
Here's what I found.
Never been to that
Mills,
one.
Bass Pro Mills.
Can I tell you something? I've never been to any of these, but
Yeah.
I'm not a big
Wait.
Tim Hortons guy, so it's hard to. Hard to.
Let's go back to.
We're talking about nature.
Pacer.
Yeah. Shout out Vaughan.
Shout out Vaughan.
Sorry, we got so busy shouting out Vaughan. That's just how I tend to. I'm a patriotic guy.
Yeah.
I grew up in Thornhill. I came downtown. I came downtown for Jays games, concerts.
Yeah.
Casey Roberts and the Live Revolution. That was my favorite band in high school. Came down a lot to see them. My grandparents lived downtown, so I would come downtown fairly often. And I understood the city to be the TTC, traffic, concerts, sports.
Mm-hmm. Surface level understanding of Toronto.
100%.
Yeah.
And then I moved here during COVID, and all of that wasn't a thing. So it's like, okay, what is it?
Yeah.
So I started biking around a lot, and then I spent a good 2 years just biking,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was posting videos on my personal Instagram of me biking. Can we watch some videos of me?
What did you learn through that?
Where should I?
Well, I did. Honestly, I literally did what you do, which is I just biked around and asked questions.
Really?
I knew nothing. I started completely blank slate, full beginner's mind. I don't know the first thing about the city of Toronto. Every sign, every trail, every path, every streetcar, every piece of infrastructure was totally new to me. Mm-hmm. And I just asked questions. It was literally like, what is this? What is this water tower? what is this building?
That's cool.
What is this cable? So I just biked around like crazy for like over a year. And there we go. That was my first ever bike around Toronto.
Around Toronto all day. I learned 3 things. Humans aren't in charge of this place at all. Rivers are.
There you go. So I learned that experientially, right?
Yeah.
I really, before I knew, here we go. Okay. So this was really interesting, right?
This is really cool.
Cause I'm on a bike trail and then all of a sudden it's this close. And I'm like, wait, I thought I was in nature.
Yeah.
Am I in nature or am I like in a construction area?
Mm-hmm.
It's some kind of liminal, in between space. So I was like, look at this. I was on this trail assuming, but also some schmuck that I am, I'm on these trails that are paved in between a bunch of trees thinking this is nature.
Yeah.
It's like, well, how did that gravel trail get there? Like someone had to
went.
cut down a bunch of trees to make that happen, right?
Yeah.
So look, number 3, right? I thought I knew things about Toronto, but I'm a novice. I know nothing. I've barely scratched the outer epidermal layer of the surface of knowledge. What is the Leslie Tank? What is Duncan Creek? So I really didn't know. I'm humbled by the city. That is true. And I still feel that way. Even though, when was that? Look at that, April 2022. So that's 3 years ago.
Oh my God.
I really did not know anything at that time. Shout out to my friend Nat. If you see Nat in the comments, Nat Man Smith. I just want to shout out my friend Nat because he was doing park reviews. He was reviewing parks around the GTA, and he's my number one homie. It was a big inspiration. Anyway, so if you keep scrolling through, you can see just like other stuff I was learning. There's a big like water tank. I didn't know how to film myself either back then, as you can see.
You're doing a great job.
So
but I was like, what the hell is this? I'm like, look at that thing. What is that? And so this video, if you turn the audio on, I'm literally just saying, what is this?
What is it? And who invented it? I have 2 questions. What is it doing here? And are the people in this neighborhood happy with it?
It's a very relevant question.
Who invented this?
Wait, what neighborhood is this?
Okay.
That's like,
Really good question.
it's like at Lawrence and Don Mills or your type of area.
Yeah.
Ish.
This is dope.
So anyway, if you keep scrolling through like that, it's just me. More of that thing.
Yeah, you became curious about it.
It was pure curiosity. So like now, obviously I've like made a business out of showing people this kind of stuff, but it's 100% born from me just trying to figure it out for me out of sheer curiosity of like, you see a thing like this, you're like, what the hell
100%
even is that? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
What in God's name is a Leslie Tank?
Yeah, I worked on my angles.
Very flattering. Yeah, you're funny, man. That was a good cut.
So you
And I'm seeing stuff like this. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You're like, so it was this total like reinvention. And also, it was a little quarter life crisis. I'd quit my job.
Yeah.
I was just like, I had a ton of time. I was like, let me just get on the bike and bike around. That was my dad's old bike that I'm on there. And then here's another, this river. I just started to see all these rivers. And it was a real 180. I was like, I didn't understand the first thing about this city. So I just felt this strong sense of like, it's time to learn. So I just got totally obsessed for a solid year and a half, maybe. And then after that, I started posting on TikTok. So this is just to my friends, this is my personal Instagram. And then my friends started saying like, yo, you should, share this more widely. And I eventually started posting on TikTok, but it really was this nature piece, but it's complicated because even what is nature, quote unquote, here is so human modified, right? Like this is the built environment masquerading as nature. And so I kind of became very interested in this question of like, what does it mean for anything to be natural in an urban environment through the framing of this kind of Stewart Brand pace layering question. Because it relates to, if you go back to the pace layering thing, the culture, infrastructure, governance, like those things all are playing a role here, right? Mm-hmm. Culture is so slow, just like nature, slow moving. But culture is really important.
Before we move from the nature.
Yeah.
So you mentioned in about that one video, you're on like the paved path, right?
Yeah.
But like I've noticed in the photos and stuff from your walking tours, where you explore the ravines in Toronto.
Yeah.
Like clearly you went from this to like, okay, wait, how do I go towards an environment that seems more natural or something, right?
For sure.
So what was that process? How did you go from like these initial bike ride, to on these paths to going more and more towards?
Tommy, can you pull up the Lost Rivers map of Toronto? So one of the first things, just go to Google Images and that second one, or the first one, they both work. But these are maps of, or maybe the third one even is pretty kind of sick. This is a hidden hydrology website. There's an organization called Lost Rivers. Shout out Lost Rivers. They have been, everything that you hear from me, they have been doing for far longer and far more authoritatively. I am like humbled to be even the slightest ambassador for the ideas that I have learned from Lost Rivers and that they have been working on for many decades. They have been researching all of the lost rivers of Toronto, which is to say the city of Toronto used to look like this, right? There are rivers everywhere. If you look at the previous one too, that's a map of Toronto with all of the historic rivers superimposed on top of it. So you may have heard of Garrison Creek. Mm-hmm. That's what used to run through Christie Pitts, Trinity Bellwoods.
So what happened to them?
They all got channelized, buried, put into sewers, and buried underground to make way for, to turn into sewage system infrastructure, because they were being used by the British as waste management. You would put your stuff in the river and then it would go into the lake. That was the garbage, that was the waste management system, and eventually became super polluted, bugs everywhere, and so there was a movement to bury them underground to make way for more housing and more development and more industrialization to kind of sanitize the city. But that led to its own problems, flooding, etc. So, when I discovered this was really kind of light bulb, kind of life-changing. And I made a point of walking all of these, just discovering, because some of them have kind of preserved some aspects of their natural quote unquote character. And some of them are just completely gone, just, beyond any recognition. And someone would have to tell you, by the way, you're standing in what used to be a big river. But, the Toronto ravine system, one of the first things I learned in these explorations is like Toronto has the largest ravine system of any city in the world. And I was like, well, I should,
What is a ravine?
A ravine is a large indentation in the ground.
Yeah.
In the case of Toronto, they were carved out by glaciers. So Toronto had a bunch of glaciers on top of it. Then those glaciers all melted 12,000 years ago. And then the fast moving glacial meltwater kind of hit the ground, really hard, and it carves out these huge valleys. So when you're driving on the Don Valley, for instance, you're in the basin of a really massive ravine.
Really?
But Toronto has a lot of smaller ravines too. But by area, we have the largest ravine system of any city in the world. It is the defining feature of the city of Toronto. One of my tours is called The City Beneath Toronto. There's an entire world, beneath the city. And by car, you would never really see it because there's so many bridges. Toronto is a city of amazing bridges. We have bridges everywhere. You don't think of Toronto as a bridge city, right? If I was, what are the greatest bridge cities with bridge? Golden Gate Bridge or something. London, definitely. Maybe, Europe, there's a lot of great bridges, whatever it is.
Brooklyn Bridge. You don't think of Toronto as having great bridges. There are bridges everywhere. You don't think of them as bridges because they don't appear as such from a car. Because they're not going over waterways. They're going over ravines. So for instance, there's the Prince Edward Viaduct. That one's pretty epic. But if you look at this Vale of Avoca, that's a great example. It's in the middle there. That's a great example. When you are driving, that's not a picture of what that is referring to. But if you click on Vale of Avoca, when you're driving over it, you can't really tell that you're on a bridge. Bathurst Street has a ton of bridges. Shepherd is a bunch of bridges. I was just there at Earl Bell's Park. Tons of bridges there. You don't think of them as that because it's just trees. You're going over a ravine as opposed to over water. Can we see a diagram of a ravine?
Sure, just look up Park Drive reservation lands.
And also, why is it called a ravine system?
Because I'm not just here. This is
a ravine.
This is what it looks like to be in a ravine. Yeah, you're in the kind of.
So I'm gonna
see that bridge. Yeah, that's yeah.
So I'm gonna ask some dumb questions.
Go ahead.
So a ravine is an indentation, and in the ground, and the indentation used to have water. In it?
Yes. So what you need to imagine. Okay, this is not actually how it worked, and apologies to the geologists watching because they're gonna get mad.
Geologist.
You need to. What's that?
Sorry, geologist.
Yeah. Can we just give an official? Vin, do you mind apologizing to the geologists as well?
My bad to every geologist.
Thank you. We'll make it up to them. You need to imagine, just for the sake of argument, that Toronto's completely flat, right? But it's covered by a big thing of ice. Okay. And then
Toronto's completely flat.
Just for it's not actually, it was never actually
okay.
flat, but just for the sake of illustration.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's imagine that Toronto's completely flat. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's covered in a big cube of ice on top of it that goes a full mile high, right? So super, super tall thing of ice. 1.5 kilometers in the air.
Okay.
The earth starts to warm, right? 12,000 years ago. Okay. That ice starts to melt, right? All of that melting ice is like really heavy, this glacier, and all of that melting ice water starts to, it'll kind of, when you drop water on a surface, sometimes it kind of, if there's even the tiniest of indentations in the ground, it'll kind of preferentially flow through that thing and try to find the like path of least resistance.
Yes.
So you need to imagine that melting ice now starts to flow on the ground and end up, it's trying to go to the Atlantic Ocean. It's trying to go to what we now call the Great Lakes. That water is all trying to, go downhill and go somewhere, right? In that process, it like starts running in these tiny little indentations in the ground. But for hundreds of years, this enormous quantity of melting water is just rushing and rushing and rushing and rushing through all of those indentations, which, if it's soil, it deepens them.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. So it carves out
Yes.
these huge indentations in the ground.
Yes.
And there's just kind of a lot of like random fluctuation in terms of the rock structures underneath of which ones are big, which ones are small. You get these big hills. There's all this variation. It's not a perfectly uniform. There's some stochasticity to that kind of process. So what you end up is kind of a network of tributaries, a network of ways that this gigantic melting ice ended up in the lake or ended up in the Atlantic Ocean or ended up in the St. Lawrence or whatever it might be. That is like a system. That's not just one pathway.
And it's very hard to see that from the perspective of like you're standing in this ravine. It's hard to even realize that you're in a ravine, or if you're in a car. Maybe you can see it from
when you're in the ravine, you're good. What I'm saying is, if you're on that bridge above there, if you see in that picture, it actually is really, really hard to tell because you can't see beneath you.
Totally.
When you're on one of those bridges, all you see is trees around you, and you don't realize you're so far above, right? This thing that you're walking above.
That's
so
interesting.
So that's how the glacier carves out all of these ravines, and then many
we have bridges everywhere going over all of these indentations.
That's right. So if you go back to the Lost Rivers map, all of those roads, all of these roads, right? So if you look at all of these streets,
bridges.
are bridges over what? So many of those ravines had water still running through them to this day. And those are rivers now.
Yes.
So it's no longer rushing glacial water. It's like from the Hudson's Bay or from whatever source or from the Oak Ridges moraine.
Yes.
So if we look at a topological map of Ontario, the kind of province of Ontario, it ascends from here to what's called the Oak Ridge. Maybe we can just look at the Oak Ridges moraine. It ascends from where we are in Toronto, which is low. We're quite low level. And then it goes up. Here we go. Let's look at that. That first one, that works. So that all that green stuff is like higher, topologically.
Yes.
It's higher elevated. And so everything south of that, there's water flowing down, right? So all of the water that comes from that Oak Ridges Moraine flows south to Lake Ontario. On the other side of the Oak Ridges Moraine, it's flowing north.
Yes.
But that's the kind of local maximum. So or if you look at that one, Tommy, there's two down from that on the left side. There's a great picture that shows
first column, third row.
There we go. So it shows, right? You see north of the Oak Ridges Moraine, everything's flowing up into Lake Simcoe. South of the Oak Ridges Moraine, everything is flowing south to
and so
Lake
that
Ontario.
has an influence on the topology, the way the ground, where the ground is high and where the ground is low.
And so all of those lost rivers used to flow into Lake Ontario like this, but we buried many of them underground. So now a lot of those ravines don't have water in them anymore. They're just like walking trails, or they've been restored. So they used to be very unsavory places because they were rivers, and then the rivers were buried. It was all sewage infrastructure. And then, in the 60s, in the 50s and 60s, it had a really, really negative reputation.
Really?
These ravines, because they were viewed as dirty. They were viewed as like places to do drugs. It was, there was a mayor who said like the ravines are only good for, stabbing children and needles. That was the kind of reputation that the ravines had. And then there was a mass environmental movement, the organization called Pollution Pro, among many others, that basically, and then a huge number of volunteer organizations in the city of Toronto who basically decided like, this is not it. We need to restore these ravines. And so the ravines are now beautiful to the point where I can walk around in all of them and take, groups of 50 people with me. And it's like amazing. And it's rejuvenating and it's incredible. And it's kind of a revelation to many of the people who I feel very lucky to be able to like show this side of the city who have never seen it before. But that was not always the case, and a lot of volunteer like tree planting had to be involved in the restoration of these ravines. But there's an amazing story, if we can skip, to the culture, governance, infrastructure. The Spadina Expressway was this highway that was going to be built through what is now Nordheimer Ravine.
Wait, hold on,
but go ahead.
What does it mean to restore a ravine?
So a lot of trees were cut down. So rich British people used to build their houses or build factories in a lot of these ravines. Yeah. So the Don Valley, Evergreen Brickworks, like that was just a huge factory. That was a polluting factory. A lot of ravines had mansions in them where they would take the water that used to run in those rivers. There we go. That's the Evergreen. So this was like, this was the understanding of what the ravines are for. Industry.
So to help me understand this is a factory.
Yeah,
and
it's a brick factory.
It's a brick factory. And the kind of like indented land in front of it is a ravine?
No, in this case, that's a quarry. That's a dug up brick.
Yes.
That's to dig the clay to build bricks.
So how is Evergreen Brickworks related to the ravines?
Evergreen Brickworks is located in the ravine formed by the Don River.
And why is it useful for a factory to be in a ravine?
In 1889, two brothers discovered a bunch of red clay. They were just digging around. They were doing like me. They were just walking around and they found a bunch of red clay in the valley of the Don River. And they thought this clay would be really good for building bricks.
Oh.
And they were entrepreneurs and they founded the Don Valley Brickworks Company. And so that's, it's not random. I mean, there's geological reasons why that red clay is there, but it just happened to be that particular thing had a bunch of really suitable for brick making clay in it.
So
and then they built
a factory
They built a factory there. But the point serves that the ravines were not viewed as a kind of nature preserve area. Mm-hmm. It was like totally appropriate to build factories there. Later on in the history of the city, it was viewed as totally appropriate to view a highway, the Don Valley Parkway, through that ravine. There was another highway that was supposed to be built through the Nordheimer and Cedarville ravines called the Spadina Expressway, but that was protested out of existence. Or part of it was protested. So
the Don Valley Parkway runs through a ravine?
That's right.
Can we see that?
Absolutely.
Is there a way to understand that?
For sure.
What am I looking up here? DVP ravine?
Yeah. If you just look at what when you drive in the Don Valley Parkway,
beautiful.
Can we just get an aerial view of the DVP area? DVP. Yeah. So like when you drive in the DVP, you are like lower than everything on either side, right? You're in a valley, or maybe honestly Google like what's it called? Oh, that's a beautiful view right there too. Look at that. Very nice.
Wow.
It's beautiful. I mean, the Don River and its watershed are extraordinary. And, this is complicated. This is complicated because prior to the building of the DVP, there were two movements at the time. One was purely conservation and one was transportation. Both of them believed that the Don Valley should be used for something other than pollution. Because you need to imagine that the entire Don River area is being used for factories, right? There's a place called Todd Morton Mills, Evergreen Brickworks. These are just big factories. There were just tons of factories in this valley, and they were dumping all of their waste into the Don River. And then all of that industrial waste from the Don River would just make its way into Lake Ontario, just hugely polluting, right? And that makes its way into the drinking, that's not good for anyone. So two different groups of people are like, this shouldn't happen. One, led by this guy, Charles Soriol, who had a little cottage in the Don Valley, was like, this should be conserved. We should get rid of all the factories and this should be a conservation area, put the trees here, put the biking paths here, nature preserve, etc. The other school, led by Frederick Gardner, Metropolitan Toronto. Can we pull up the logo for Metropolitan Toronto, if you don't mind? The other school, led by Metropolitan Toronto.
Logo.
Yeah, there we go. The other school led by Baller. The other school led by Metropolitan Toronto. Shout out the 6. Said, okay, this would be a great place to put a highway because that was their mandate to build highways through the city of Toronto. Both of these uses actually were had to clean up, so to speak, the Don Valley because it meant stopping the at least industrial pollution. Now we have the car pollution, but it at least made it usable. Both of these sought to make the Don Valley a public space because at that time, driving your cars were still relatively new as a the idea that everybody had a car ubiquitously was a new thing. So it was like, what a beautiful thing to be able to take a drive through the Don Valley Parkway. Prior to that, you couldn't drive there because it was just industrial, right? It was just factories. It wasn't a place anyone would want to go. And this was like, why don't we make this a luxurious public space? That's why it's called the Don Valley Parkway, because it's for driving through a park, as opposed to the Gardner Expressway or the 401 freeway, which are for getting places commuting. The Don Valley Parkway was literally initially built for the purpose of taking a leisurely drive with your family to enjoy nature. That was the mode by which people understood the enjoyment of nature at that time because the car was such a new thing. It was very exciting for people that you would get in your car and like drive and be able to see stuff you couldn't see before.
Do you have a POV video of driving through the DVP?
Let's go a little.
Driving through the DVP.
You could just say,
I mean, driving through the DV. No, yeah, but during the day, it's electric to drive through the DVP.
it's nice.
How about Toronto by car? Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
DVP drive, right?
Yeah,
we
you'll have to-
need
you'll have
8. Well, I want something HD. None of this
This
GoPro.
one's 4K.
When you're driving into the city from the DVP, it looks really nice.
This works, right?
Don Mills North. No, this is the wrong way.
Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really interesting.
So, I mean, it's just traffic now. I mean, it's really changed. But if you
Yeah.
can go on a no traffic day driving down the
No, it's
Don
really
Valley,
nice.
it's amazing because you're driving in one of Toronto's, most beautiful natural features. Here we go. Lawrence, York Mills. Yeah, we're literal. So at this point, we're not quite in a ravine just yet. You can see we're kind of level with the city. At a certain point, we're going to go into a ravine, meaning we're going to be below the
It
city.
seems like
so to
it's on a
speak.
decline right now.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
we're
yeah.
going lower
Absolutely. Pretty
Yeah.
amazing. Once you
You
get
don't
to the
even
part where the
notice these
Bloor
things.
Viaduct is going over top you, one of my favorite
now. Oh,
pictures.
that's why there's a bridge here.
There you go.
Because if it didn't dip, it would just.
We're getting.
Well, I mean, I guess they have to go over the highway.
getting
Exactly.
lower and lower.
Well, it's not they have. Yeah, the highway was built
Oh wait,
under
that's a
the
walking
city.
path. Yes.
This is
yes,
Lawrence.
yes.
Do you know about the little rainbow bridge right there?
Yes.
Classic rainbow bridge there.
But you can see it dipping in elevation. For
Absolutely.
Sure. And now we're lower than the buildings, significantly lower.
There you go.
Wow.
Fast forward.
These little details that you just don't notice unless you ask a question.
Let's keep it going. Yeah, but I mean, it's not going to be super pretty yet. But once we get to the kind of where the Science Center (RIP) area is, it gets
The
pretty.
turns are very nice on this highway too.
Yeah, as much as I'm not a big, I'm not a highway guy. I'm not a car guy. I love this drive.
Yeah, me too.
This is meditative. I could.
Especially when there's no traffic.
You just want the audio.
It's like the best.
No, we don't need this is just let your imagination provide the audio. One of the things worth contemplating whenever you're in an environment like the one we're looking at right now is if there are trees on either side of you, there used to be trees where you are. Right. So you just need to kind of take stock. The Lee Side Bridge. Look at this.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite bridges.
Good bridge.
I love this bridge right here. Just a magnificent bridge. See, the thing is, you can walk down below, right? So
below the bridge, below even this highway.
below this highway. So even this highway is still a little bit elevated. So right to the right of this, there's an amazing walking and biking trail. So the Don River is down there to the right of this. So we are kind of at a mid elevation between the kind of city level and the Don River level, which is all the way at the basin, the bottom of this ravine. We're kind of at a fake halfway point that was like constructed here. As we keep going, we're going to descend, and eventually this DVP will be level with the Don River.
Oh wow!
And so if you remember when the city flooded last year, there was like a big storm.
Yes.
The Don River flooded the DVP. Not up here because they're different elevations, but we're eventually going to get to the point where they're at the same elevation.
Which makes sense why that happened now.
Yeah. This is I love doing. I just did this drive just 2 days ago. What's that?
It's 2001 Honda S2000 right here on the right.
Oh yeah, is that a good one?
Yeah. He's got the right idea. He knows what he's doing. What does this thing say? Is I spell it? Beggar?
Yeah, that's his beggar.
Oh yeah, this is my favorite turn.
This area is just. This is what a video. Can we
This-
go?
this
Can we go
drive is
1.5 speed, Tommy,
Yeah.
or 1.25? I just want to. Ooh, hit the gas right there. We just passed where Evergreen Brickworks is.
Yeah.
So if you go
There's
down, that's
another
even further
bridge
down,
there,
right? So
yeah. Yeah,
where
so
those
that-
cars are turning off. So that's
going
in the
down.
valley, right? That's
Yeah,
yeah. There you go.
That exit there. It's a
That's
bay
a-
view.
Great exit.
Yeah, it is.
Amazing exit. One of the best.
No, actually, for real though, it has like a very hard, tight turn.
Yo, I believe you.
Look at this. Shout out to the Prince Edward mother flippin'. Can we curse on this program?
Yeah.
Shout out to the mother flippin'.
Mother flippin'.
Prince.
Jesus, that's weird.
Shout out to the mother frickin'
Yeah.
Prince Edward Viaduct. Can we just get a pause on this? Can I do 2 minutes on the
Yeah,
Prince
sure.
Edward Viaduct, the
Just
Blue
two.
Viaduct?
Just two.
Yeah. Do I have 2 minutes?
Yeah.
I don't want to divert the agenda. I know this is planned to a T. This was built right in like the 1910s. You know, there's a subway down there, right? The subway runs under the bridge. Right?
Under this bridge.
Under this. So there's the car level. There's the pedestrian level up top,
Yeah.
and then one level down. There's a subway level.
Yes. Very cool.
What,
yeah.
what stations are
This is
in between?
connecting Sherburne.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. This is connecting Castle Frank on the one side and Broadview on the other side. We could talk a lot
You
about
didn't know anything about this when you started biking around and stuff?
Zero.
Wow. That's really impressive.
I knew a tiny. No, honestly, no. I knew the basic.
That's really impressive, man.
Like, I don't know if I would have ever gone. I would have, if you had said Castle Frank to me, I would have thought that's funny. Like, that's a funny name for a station, which I still think is true. But I had nothing to.
Yeah. So when you get into things, you really get it.
Oh, it's a problem. It's a problem.
Okay.
They built the train tracks below
Yeah.
40 years before they had invented the subway technology to put a subway down there.
Really?
But they built this bridge and they were like, you know what? Maybe one day we will be able to build subterranean trains in Toronto.
Really?
And when
that's
we
what they
do, maybe it'll go under this bridge. The foresight.
Who designed this bridge? Do you know? No?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's thinking on it.
1 sec.
That's a
My
crazy.
boy R.C. Harris.
Wow.
Whoa.
Do you know about the R.C. Harris water treatment facility?
No.
We got a lot to learn, man.
Yeah. I'm ready, man.
Man,
This
you
is
got to
fun.
come walking with me, dude.
Yeah, I would love to. It'd be an honor.
Tommy, let's get the
I'm
R.C.
impressed
Harris
with the,
water treatment facility
I'm
going.
impressed with the level of like detail and like research.
Wait, we got to
and
go.
stuff.
We got to finish our drive down the. Let's finish our drive down the DVP,
Yeah.
and then we'll go to the R.C. Harris.
But that's a really good
Right.
note that you mentioned about the fact that they built this bridge that supports subways without even knowing.
Subway didn't exist.
Yeah.
But they were like, maybe one day.
Maybe.
Look at this valley. I mean, this is just beautiful stuff here. Little Saturday drive down the DVP, nothing like it.
So it's another slight decline here.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Safe
I don't know if it's
driving.
slight, but they're going.
I love the speed.
Yeah.
Need for speed. Shout out Bridgepoint Hospital.
On the left.
Yeah. Riverdale Park
The-
to your right.
So it's going lower and lower.
So we are
now.
still kind of above, but we're getting very close. The Don River's right there. So
right, but on the right of us.
on the right of us, the Don River's really, really right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is a trail right to.
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
bottom, right?
Beautiful
That's right.
biking trail,
Yeah.
walking trail. I learned so much walking and biking. I mean, honestly, everything I'm telling you, I learned walking and biking that trail.
Really.
Just right to the right of here. I spent days. I mean, there were man, unemployment hits crazy. Like, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Here's my advice: quit your job and just walk around the city of Toronto. You learn a lot.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. So yeah, learned a ton, but yeah, we are basically at river level at this point. And then once we get lower here still, I mean, we could talk about this. There's about to be a new massive GO station on the left where that BMW facility is. Do you see that car?
Yeah.
That Ford thing. There's about to be a huge new GO station built there for
That's sick.
what's called the Ontario line, a new subway we're building. On the right, there's so much to say. I don't want to spoil. You know what? Let's leave something to the imagination here. You know, people gotta come out.
Well, I think that's cool. Let's see how close we get to this river.
Yeah. Oh, close to the river. I mean, you can almost. Can you see it?
Right
Can you see it? There it is.
So there's still wow.
There's the Don River. Now this is complicated stuff. This is very complicated stuff. Can we pull up an aerial map of the Portlands? Yeah, let's get the let's go to images.
So that
here
entire
we go.
area
maybe
Tell me where.
Yeah, this is good. The one you have right now, that's good. Can we do some? We're gonna do some zooming.
Copy that.
We're gonna do some zooming. Okay, let's look at this map. So on the left is where we were just driving. So left side, right there. Yeah, that's where we just were.
Yeah.
So all of those. So actually, if you move your mouse to the left a little bit, Tommy, a little bit more, that's where that BMW facility is, right there on the right side. Yeah. Okay. Then we're driving down, right? If you keep driving on the DVP, it merges into the Gardner. So if you keep going south, no, not yet. Yeah, keep going south. Keep going. It merges into the Gardner Expressway. Yeah, merge. Yeah, merge. There you go. Good merge. And then now you're on the Gardner, and now you're just driving on the. Now you're driving through the city. Now, by the way, let me tell you something. In the next few years, let me tell you what's going to happen. There's going to be a realignment of the Gardner. So do you see how it is like running through the city, and then it has this curvaceous part where Tommy is right now? It's actually going to go straight. So if you're there, it's not going to do that curve. It's going to follow the train tracks more closely. Do you see the train tracks on the left? Right there. Yeah. It's actually going to follow that. So if you follow the Gardner, it's going to go like that. And then all of that,
doing that?
Because this used to be a big industrial area that they had to build around, but all of the industry that's down at the waterfront is gone now. So this Gardner Expressway is going to get realigned, and then all of that open area is going to become condos. Now there's been a process. What's that?
All of this?
All of that is also going to become condos, but that's
he's
different
talking
from
about
the
the
thing
left.
on the other side.
What?
Now, this is a huge project. This is called the Revitalization of the Don River.
I've heard of this.
This,
Why is it called the Revitalization of the Don River?
There's so.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because that specific alignment.
I need to cancel some plans. How much should we get? Like, there's so much to get into here.
This is what I'm doing today, man.
I know. There's a lot to talk about.
Okay.
We could easily do 2 hours on this, but let me just give you the TLDR.
Yeah. Revitalization of the Don River.
I'm having the time of my life right now, by the way.
Me too, man. I love this stuff. Okay, wait. Let me anchor this.
Okay, wait. Let me ask you something first.
Yeah, sure.
Do you have like cookies or something? Do you have like a little like? Can I,
Yeah.
Like, do you have like? I just need a little
Yeah.
little blood sugar.
Yeah. Maybe,
Maybe should we take an ad break?
Yeah.
Little.
Can we do coffee too?
I don't drink coffee, but if you want to get.
Yeah.
Is that allowed? Can we take breaks mid pod?
Yeah, take a break. You're doing well, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. What, the listeners are okay with this? They just accept us? Okay, bye. All right. You guys, I'm obsessed. I am obsessed. Welch's Fruit Snacks. Nature's Bakery Fig Bar. Nature's Bakery, if you're listening, happy to do paid ads. Made Good Soft Baked Mini Cookies. Red Velvet. I just felt a little, sometimes you feel it. You're like, I need a snack. I used to watch Leonard Susskind lectures, physicist at Stanford, and he'd be like mid-writing equations. He'd be in the middle of, I want to keep the audience engaged, you know?
That makes sense.
He'd be in the middle of writing equations on the board, and he'd go, you know what, I need a cookie. This is like an old physics professor at Stanford.
Yeah.
Legendary physics prof, but pretty old Jewish guy. He'd be writing some stuff on the board, and he'd go, we got to stop class. I need a cookie.
Wow.
I need to stop class. Have a little. That's how I felt just now. I was like, you know what? We got to stop class. I need a cookie.
We got to stop class sometimes.
Sometimes you got to stop class to have a little fig snack.
Just for a little cookie.
Okay. So this, the Gardner Expressway has this curve in it, and beside it is this open space, which used to be like an industrial area.
Yeah, we need to go higher level here.
Okay.
That's too detailed. Okay.
Sorry.
We've got an hour left.
Bro, we don't have even close to enough time.
We're on a timer, gentlemen.
Can we get a picture of Ashbridges Bay Marsh?
Copy that.
Thank you. So this is what this looked like back in the day. Let's do the let's do the the one that has an old map superimposed upon a new map. Above that? Yeah. Sick. So okay, if you can see this is a great picture. Let's blow this up. I love this. I've never seen this particular picture before.
Blowing the phone.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Where did it bring me?
Bro.
Wait.
I just would open image. Don't open link.
That's
Go down to open image.
There you go.
I'm learning how to use a computer.
Sick. All right, zoom in on this. Let's get this going. This is good stuff here. Okay. Can I tell you what it's like to be me?
Yeah, sure.
You just open up a map like this and just freaking, that's an hour. That's 2 hours.
That sounds like me.
Is that what it's like to be you?
So, yeah.
What do you do that's like this?
Everything.
Everything?
This conversation. I'm
Sick.
with you. I'm sitting beside you.
No.
I'm like, here. We're both here, man.
Can I tell you, this is like the ideal, dream blunt rotation here.
What does that mean?
What does the phrase dream blunt rotation mean?
No, we can talk about this map.
Oh, okay.
No, we can talk about the map.
All right. There's so much to notice here. So everything blue, right? All of this blue stuff is new, which is to say the black coastline. Do you see the black coastline?
Yeah, well, blue, what do you mean? There's like blue lines.
Okay, sorry. The kind of blue coloration where it says Toronto Bay. Not that blue. Not the river blue, but the water blue.
Yes.
And everything around it.
Yes.
That's all new. Meaning it was not here 400 years ago. The original shoreline is in black. So, Tommy, can you trace the black original shoreline? There's that. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And then also on the shore, on the waterfront of the city itself. There we go. Yeah. So if you see where the CN Tower is, for example, can you see where the Rogers Center, the Sky Dome is?
Yeah, it's right there. No,
slightly up to the left of that. Where those are right. So for instance, those two things, everything south of that, the Gardner, all of the waterfront is on made land. That is to say, that's south of where the original shoreline would have been. So that's like all infill of soil taken from other places. So for example, when you build houses, you dig a basement. When you build a condo, you dig a basement. Where does all that soil go? For many dozens of years, especially in the 1900s, in the 19th century, in the 1800s, all that soil went to expand the waterfront of the city of Toronto. It also went to infill the island. Look at the original island. The original island is really just a sand bank. So it's all just sand. All this black stuff extending out from the city, if you see that, all that's all just sand. So it wasn't an island in the way we think about it now where you can drive a car, it's just all just kind of a sandy beach type of thing. Some of it was, walkable, but not for the most part. And that's that. And then all of this thing called Ashbridges Marsh is this huge, sandy, swampy marsh area on the foot of the city.
Yes.
Okay. That sets the stage of what the city of Toronto would have looked like had you come here, let's say 500, 1,000 years ago, to the Mississauga people, for example, this is what the city of Toronto would have looked like.
Thank you.
You can see now this modern coastline. Several things have happened, right, over the last 200 years. One of them is, like I mentioned, the infilling of the city, right? Like all of this waterfront has been expanded. The island has been completely filled in. This thing on the right, do you see this thing where it says modern coastline? That's called the Leslie Street Spit. Yeah, it goes all the way down. It's huge. It's 5 kilometers long, and it extends out from the city. That was built as a breakwater, a protector to protect the harbor. So this was just a huge long spit that extends out from the city because they expected a lot of ship traffic, and they didn't want the fluctuations in the ships to make all these bumpy waves that affected the harbor of the city. But then this thing is like expanded and expanded. So it has this massive 5 kilometer thing. It's one of the greatest things in the city, the Leslie Street Spit, the Tommy Thompson Park. It's extraordinary that this exists. This is not something I knew existed until my friend Eileen, shout out Eileen, showed this to me like 4 years ago because she grew up in the city of Toronto and she knew. But I never knew, and it's like unbelievable. What a luxury.
Why is it so unbelievable?
It's just, so it was built as this, like I said, this breakwater protector to protect the city. It was built, Tommy, can you get a picture of Leslie Street Spit trucks? So every time a building was built in the city, so in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, the city went through an enormous period of growth. Homes were torn down to build condos and stuff like that. So let's see. Leslie Street, right? Leslie Street Spit.
Spit truck?
Yeah. Scroll down, or like maybe construction or building or something like that.
No, you're gonna have to put spit back in, I think.
Yes. There it is. The fourth picture there. Yeah, that. So yeah, let's get that picture. That's an awesome picture. Can we get that one really huge?
A new archaeology for the Leslie Street Spit.
I love this picture. So basically, that thing that is extending on that right side of that previous map we were looking at
is this kind of material.
Every single time a building was demolished, right? So say you tear down a house, where do all those bricks go? Here.
Oh.
Just dumped into Lake Ontario, extending out. Do you see this? So it was just built a thing like this, 5 kilometers long. So it was just this huge kind of soil. And so when you walk along this thing, the Leslie Street Spit, and you look at the ground, it's like bricks. It's like crushed up bricks and gravel and soil from demolished houses that they used to build condos and big buildings and stuff like that. You know, when you build the CN Tower, you got to dig a ton. Yeah. Where does all that stuff go? It's got to go here. So destroyed houses, dirt from the city, et cetera, built this thing, the Leslie Street Spit, as a breakwater. But then what happened was, it was this 5 kilometer long thing that looked like this. They were like, what are we going to do with this thing? I mean, it's huge. It's here. It's protecting the harbor. At a certain point, they realized that actually there's going to be less ship traffic than expected because we got big trucks that could carry a lot of stuff, and there would be fewer big ships because the big ships that are like the cross-Atlantic, huge things that carry the box, you know, when you, like the shipping infrastructure is best dealt with at the coast. So the way shipping infrastructure works now, like in global supply chains, you put a ton of boxes on a big ship that docks at the coast of the country, and then it unloads everything, and then cars and trains bring it in. So those ships aren't coming to Toronto. Those huge international ships.
They thought they might be.
They thought in the 50s that they might be. So that's why they built all this infrastructure. But that never happened. So we had all this stuff that kind of wasn't serving much of a purpose anymore. So it was like, what are we going to do with this thing? There was all this discussion in the 70s. Maybe they'll turn it into an amusement park. Maybe they'll turn it into whatever. Trees just started showing up.
Really?
Turtles started moving in. All of this plant and animal and biodiversity, ecological life just started showing up unannounced on the Leslie Street Spit. So if you look at a picture of it now, if we get a picture of it now, Tommy, it has become this unbelievable ecological protected birding area because it's like, it kind of has become this.
This is it?
Yes.
This is like all just the dumped brick and stuff?
Yes.
Don't you see the brick?
That's crazy.
That is sitting on all of this is sitting on top of a foundation of like the destroyed basement of people's houses that used to be in the city that they then built condos on top of.
Wow, that's nuts.
So that's why I'm saying it's unbelievable. You know, it's an extraordinary story. So there's a great book about it. It's called Accidental Wilderness. I like that title a lot, Accidental Wilderness. Now, it serves many other purposes too. A lot of these kind of open lagoons in the Leslie Street Spit are actually used for dumping of hazardous waste materials, and then they get covered up. So actually, this is used as a kind of storage, waste storage maintenance facility. But there's fish, there's birds. They do a lot of like ecological research around here to understand like where did all this plant and animal life come from. It's this really amazing thing. Okay, let's go back to the map that we had before of the city.
With the curved Gardner Expressway.
Not quite. We're still on this one. Yeah, we're still on this one. Yeah. This one.
I had this one.
I think you got it there. There we go. So that's this, where it says modern coastline, this long thing on the right.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of like sailing clubs and that kind of thing at the Leslie Street Spit too. It's an amazing, it's really just an extraordinary feature of our city. Okay. This Ashbridges Marsh, all of that area was filled in also to make this huge industrial area that we now call the Portlands.
Yeah.
Ugly looking area on the top of what used to be like a pretty nice, not necessarily nice, but a scenic marsh area turned into this like ugly factory kind of area. Oil tankers, doesn't smell good. A lot of industrial pollutants. That was in the 1950s. That process started in the 1890s and then was culminated in the 1950s. Again, with the expectation that Toronto would have this huge industrial core and this huge need for shipping infrastructure. A lot of industrialization moved to other countries, moved overseas. A lot of the shipping didn't end up happening the way we expected to. So this Portlands area was kind of abandoned. So for many decades, it was just kind of this like ugly thing sitting at the foot of the city. If you look at this river, the Don, you see the Don Valley, that's where we were just driving down. The Don River, look how curvaceous it is. Do you see that?
Yes.
The Don Valley, the Don River over the course of the 1890s was channelized and straightened, made completely linear. Now, rivers are almost never linear in the wild. They look like this. They have curves and winds to them.
It doesn't look like that anymore.
No, it's completely straight. South of Bloor Street, completely straight, which is not good. That's why there's flooding and stuff. Because the river wants to be free, but now it's in a cage, basically. It's been straightened like that. It used to wind and curve and then flow into Ashbridges Marsh, but it was channelized, industrialized, straightened, straight-jacketed into this, pipe, basically, that put it into the city down at this thing called the Keating Channel. And so there's this ugly 90-degree turn now where the Don River ends and the lake begins. Can you look up, Tommy, Keating Channel?
Keating Channel?
This is all getting context for when we go to that map to understand what we're talking about the revitalization of the Don River.
Is this sufficient?
Yes, Keating Channel. Let's see. Oh, yeah, the fourth one there. The fourth one there. Maybe the fifth one. The next one after that. One after that. Yeah, that right there.
Whoa.
So when we get to no, that's too new. That's the new thing that they're showing. I want the old thing. The third one should work too. No. That's too old. Old. Nice. Maybe it's going to show the Keating Channel pub.
You need a map, right?
Yeah. Oh, that third one should work also.
Copy that.
Okay. All right. Let's open that. I mean, that's not the best map, but we can just see. Let's zoom in on that. Right here, I'm going to point it out on the screen for you.
Yeah. Oh.
Right there. So that's the Don River, completely straightened.
You're showing me how they're able to manipulate it into much more of a
totally straight line. And then this ugly 90-degree turn. Do you see that super ugly 90-degree turn? Tommy, just in the kind of top left-ish, not quite right there. Yeah, for sure. That ugly 90-degree turn. Water is not meant to go like that. So what happens in that 90-degree turn, which they built starting in the 1890s and culminating in like the 1910s-ish, all the gunk from upstream accumulates in that turn, right? So when it rains, for example, the rainwater hits people's roofs, it accumulates dirt and leaves and whatever. All of that stuff ends up in the Don River. All of that dirt and waste and pollution and whatever that it's in the river accumulates in that corner. Every 6 months, the city has to go in and dredge up all of that stuff. Then it actually dumps it into the Leslie Street Spit. I was talking about those lagoons that are for whatever. That stuff all gets dumped in there. There's all sorts of problems. There's flooding problems. Everything gets backed up because of this corner, this ugly 90-degree corner. The river gets backed up when it rains. All this pollution generates. It's really, really bad. What's the solution? The solution is to basically build a new river mouth for the Don River. So Tommy, take your mouse and go up the Don River. Yeah, Go a bit further up. There we go. this is where we were just driving, by the way. Go drive, south, keep going, and keep going. And now gently,
Widen
instead of going 90 degrees, smoothly turn left. But on a, no. Bit further south, a bit more turn radius. Yes, perfect. Keep going like that, and then make your way out to the water. There you go, perfect.
Yeah, not a hard right.
Not a hard right.
turn.
So the idea was to,
let's go. Okay.
Good job. Thank you, Tommy. The idea is to build a new river mouth for the Don River. That is what we mean by the revitalization of the Don River.
Oh, okay.
Restoring, in a way, the old river mouth. Now, it's not really restoring the old river mouth because in the olden days, none of this pink stuff, the Portlands, was there. It was just a marsh. So we're building a new mouth for the Don River. And we are kind of revitalizing this entire abandoned industrial area called the Portlands and making it livable, walkable, parks, schools, condos, et cetera. So now we're ready to go back two pictures ago to a picture of the even earlier than that Portlands. Yeah. There. Yeah. So actually, you can see this mid-construction. It's actually, you can see the new
Can
river.
we see that DVP, the Don Valley, the Don River? Can we see it that hard right here? Is that it right there?
Yes, it says right there. Yeah, that's the open. Yeah.
This, right?
Do you see? Yeah, there and then left. Right. If you turn left.
So that is it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you turn left there. That's that 90-degree turn right there. That's called the Keating Channel. So shout out to the Keating Channel pub. There's a pub right there, just a bit north of there. Go a bit there. Boom. That's the Keating Channel pub. Shout out the Keating Channel pub. Highly recommend. Oh yeah. We end our tours at the Keating Channel pub. If you come on my tour of the Portlands, we end at the Keating Channel pub and we get nachos.
That's awesome. Okay, so that's just to make sure I understand.
Yeah.
This is the turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the turn.
And so
they're going to.
It's happened. It's done.
Oh, it's done.
We did it. So this is in progress, but this is already finished. If you go a bit to the right, you can actually see where the new river is. Go a bit to the right. There. That's the new river. So that's going to be the new river. Yeah. And then everything in between the Keating Channel and that new river is all going to be park and condos. And then this whole area on the bottom of the screen, that's all going to be a massive new park. So again, all of that was like former industrial area. That's going to be canoeing, biking. And then there's actually going to be a bridge connecting. If you look at the end of the Keating Channel, right there, or on the right side of that, the right side, right there, there's going to be a bridge connecting that to the mainland on the diagonally. It's off screen, but there's going to be a bridge connecting that to on the mainland on the other side.
That's amazing.
So this entire area is just going to be completely unrecognizable, and it's already underway. There's going to be, but this is a huge multi-decade project. I mean, the idea for doing something like this started, there was a funeral for the Don River in 1969. A group called Pollution Probe organized a student protest where they got limousines and they drove down the Don Valley Parkway and they wore suits and they held a formal funeral for the Don River. That was in 1969, right?
Why did they do that?
Because the Don River was so polluted. There's the funeral for the Don River. Because the Don River was so polluted, all this gunk, the Keating Channel, all of the industrialization, the Portlands, that it was basically considered dead. I mean, this is an amazing river, right? That's unusable. That's smelly, unnavigable. You don't want to walk there. You don't want to be there. It's not pleasant to be around. We are a city defined by major rivers, right? If you look at the great cities in the world that have rivers, right? If you look at, I don't know, the Thames or the Nile or the Yangtze River or the Charles River or whatever it might be, those cities are proud to have rivers. You know, they're cities built on rivers, and it's like a major part of the kind of identity. Toronto is supposed to be built on rivers. When the Wendat people lived here, in the 1300s, they lived on the Humber River. Like, they understood that you're supposed to build your city around a river. We meaning the British colonists who came to Toronto, buried the rivers underground and then pollutioned, used them as these sewage system. So we kind of have this adversarial relationship with these rivers. This is what this protest, the funeral for the Don River in 1969. And then over the course of how many years has it been since then? 55 years. Yeah. This idea of
working with the river
and being able to revitalize it has been underway. And so now it is finally happening. And so this is like a triumph of engineering. It's a triumph of, soil remediation. They have to revitalize all of the industrially polluted soil. It's an achievement of engineering, of science, of imagination, of like politics. It's an amazing it's an amazing story of like what is possible. Like
how long did the actual project take? Not including all of
the actual breaking ground on the revitalization of the mouth of the Don River. I think started in 2020, I think.
Wow.
Maybe 2019, but it opened last year, 2024. So the Don River is now fully. The new mouth is there. It's not usable yet. There's still a ton they need to build, but it's active.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And so now, and that's why they are going to.
There you go. That's what it looks like now. It's not. I mean, there's like construction everywhere, so it doesn't look like that actually. But that is what it looks like now. Yeah.
Wow.
Wicked.
When you, if we go back to the pace layering thing, it's really cool. Like through a project like this, you really start to see how much nature is like this like consistent force that's like influencing everything. And you have to understand, if you want to, like for example, if you want to understand Toronto as a city, you have to understand like its typology, like what is the ground that we're actually building 100%. On, right? And it's just crazy to see how much that influences what actually ends up being done. Yeah, it's cool that you started in this way.
Yeah, I mean, this was not intentional. Yeah, I didn't start from this picture. You know what I mean? But I'm opening some Welch's fruit snacks. Apologies.
Do you need some help?
Zooming in.
You're zooming in on me opening Welch's fruit snacks?
You can do it. Come on.
Yeah, can you?
Yeah, I got you.
Can you handle that?
I think so.
Maybe not the side I bit.
That's okay. Oh, you were opening on the wrong side.
Frick. Sorry, can we curse on this program?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I do.
Frick
is.
I don't know.
Oh, thank you.
I'm surprised to see culture as the second layer here. Yeah.
Sorry. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. Cheers. Salud.
I'm surprised to see culture as the second layer here. I'm assuming that the bottom, whatever's on the most bottom, has the slowest pace of change. And then as you move to each layer higher, the pace of change increases. But I'm surprised to see culture as the second one.
Why is that?
I just didn't think that it was that fixed.
It's really hard to change culture in a macro level. I mean, you think about the endurance of cultures over time. Many people have tried to stamp out a lot of cultures and failed.
Yeah. I guess the other thing is too, like you mentioned something very interesting, which was after, like you mentioned trying to understand like what is nature, right? Like, and even just like what you talked about now, I just like was quick to say like, oh, we're building on top of this thing, so we have to understand it. But I don't truly understand what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like I don't understand like what.
I don't either.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just starting.
No, but it's really impressive. The way that you're able to break all of this stuff down with so much detail, and also your curiosity and like willingness to ask questions and go, like when you saw the rivers, to like walk those yourself to understand. It's really cool. It's really inspiring. But it's very easy for me to just jump to the conclude, like just to assume that like I'm just like trees. That's nature, right? Like, but it's like there's like a level of depth here, and it's the same thing when I look at like culture. It's like I think one thing that's like hard with this is like defining these, for me anyways, is to like form an understanding of what these words fully mean. Have you thought about it from when you look at this and you think about like what culture is? You mentioned that.
The thing is like you can't start from this.
Right.
You have to start from reality. You know what I mean? Like you have to start from walking around. Like you and by walking around, I mean, you got to get in as close contact as possible to the source.
Yeah.
And you get to the source by walking it, by talking to people, right? It's tactile. So where's if you can't pre-theorize your explorations.
No.
Right? This is like, you can't be like, let me go do fashion and then commerce and then infrastructure in that order. It's like, no, you just need to go guided by your curiosity, find the source. What do I mean by the source? I mean like, You don't want to be in Plato's cave. You don't want to be reading about the thing from some third-hand guy. You want to go to the place they're building this thing? Let me see it with my own eyes. Who is screwing in the bridge parts? Who is bending the metal? Like, that's the source, right? Culture, it's like who's writing the book? Like, who's dictating the agenda? Where are people getting their priorities and values from? Where is culture established, right? Is it in households? It's in families. It's in schools. It's in religious organizations. It's like, you got to go there. That's where it's happening. Culture is happening everywhere. That's why it's so hard to change culture in a kind of macro sense, is because culture is the billion little influences that are pushing all of us all the time, and is extremely potent and extremely powerful. Culture does change quite slowly, but it can change. So, Donella Meadows in the book Thinking in Systems has this thing of like different ways you can change a system. Tommy, can we pull up?
Heck yeah, we can.
How did you learn? Where did you form that opinion that you need to, or that perspective that you need to go to the source? Like, was that just like an intuitive thing that you already knew, or was that?
I think I've always had a good eye for being at the source.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell when you're talking to the person who's the person.
Yeah, for sure.
You can tell when you're talking to an artist who's copying someone.
Yeah.
Or if you're talking to an artist who's the one who gets copied.
Yeah, totally. 100%.
And when you're talking to the source, you feel something. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
And so I've always felt, when I've seen certain, to me, it's always academics. When I see people who are the originators of ideas, the people who are truly like generative like that, I've always been very drawn to. I've always like almost been magnetically pulled to like those kinds of people and those kinds of things. And I mean, one of my biggest vulnerabilities is that I don't think I am that person.
Yeah.
I am a translator between, not vulnerabilities. I have had to come to terms with the fact that I am not such a person. I view myself as a mediator between those people and the public, basically. But I'm like, don't take it from me. Like, if you can take it from me as a starting point. I'm a really good starting point for getting in the door of a lot of ideas. But like, you got to go, if you really want to get into any of this, like, you got to go beyond me. You got to go to the source. Like, let me point you to the freaking source, Yeah. So, you got to learn. Yeah. You got to learn by exploring. You got to learn by walking. And I think it is my role to like direct people to the source, like to show people what are the books, what are the trails, what are the people, like who are the people on the ground that are like doing this and making it happen in a deep way. That said, I do have one other like role in this ecosystem, which is, can we blow up this image of leverage points? This is how you like make societal change. This is how you make cultural change, And the smallest one is, look at this smallest one, constraints, parameters, and numbers. This is like pay people a little bit more, right?
So wait, can you explain this graph?
Yeah.
So there's like a kind of like, what is this thing?
Donella Meadows is a famous environmental activist
who wrote Thinking in Systems, which is about the ways you can change a system, like ecology, or like the financial system, or like an institution, or like a culture. Or like the culture of, Toronto tech builders. How do you do that? I'm serious. One thing is you can change the numbers, constants, parameters, and numbers. So you can be like, okay, we're going to pay you a little more. We're going to offer one more benefit. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, that's like a nice parameter change. We're going to add one more event. It's like, all right, that's okay. Yeah.
Then that might make a bit of a change, but like, what if we really go, look at this, rules, let's go to number 5, rules of the system. Changing the very rules by which the game of this ecosystem is played. Structure of the system, change the entire social graph. Goals of the system, what is even the purpose of why we are gathering here? The mindset or the paradigm. That's like, there's this idea of like, if you take down a factory, but you do not take down the idea that led to the building of the factory, that factory will simply be rebuilt.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, ultimately, when I say the rebuilding of the Portlands is a 50-year project, it's not that the building of it's not getting the shovel in the soil. It's like the very idea of what this river should be used for is like a mindset thing, right? That is the mindset paradigm of that system level change. So it's like we are trying to make people see public space and urban life in an entirely new way. And from there, yeah, we can like build new things and have radical ideas and build stuff differently. But it's like, it's a long process of like, cultural change about the way we like understand a city, basically. And then this one, power to see the paradigm as such.
What does that mean?
I honestly have no idea.
Awakening.
Well, it says number 2 is mindset and paradigm.
Yeah.
I guess like if you look at social and system structure, this is like system level change. But then if you look at 1 and 2, this is like change. This is like the people who are within the system, the individual nodes. It's like their own like the nodes themselves change how they see what is possible, what they see is possible. That's
like it's
cool.
one thing to battle people over bike lanes, and it's another thing to have a society in which like everyone just agrees that bikes are good.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's like,
and then so many random and unexpected things are possible once you have that.
yeah, but that takes a long time, and that takes education.
Does this actually take a long time though? I mean, what is the fastest documented cultural change ever?
That's not a question I have the capacity to answer.
Yeah.
Does Claude know?
What is?
But even things that appear like mass cultural change
Built up over time.
built up over a ton of time. Gay marriage, as an example, that looks like really fast. But it's like decades and decades and decades and decades of persuasion and lobbying and activism and marginalization and building of power and coalition. It's this huge process. And then once you get the legal victories, it can happen very quickly. But it builds on the back of this huge, larger thing. And with that as an example, or like for instance, when countries have revolutions, it's not like everyone gets on board, right? Like new regimes come into power. It's not like everybody is now just aligned with that. It can look that way temporarily. And that's why in that diagram, infrastructure and governance are faster moving than culture, right? Because like you can have new people in power. You can change who's in charge. That represents maybe a subset of the mindset of the people. But like the broader cultural mentality of like a collective takes a lot of time to change. And in some cases, like very hard to change. I mean, listen, I am part of a religious group that has had a lot of cultural consistency over however long, 3,000 years. And it's like, runs pretty deep, It's like, it's hard to stamp that kind of thing out. Like, it's interesting to
What
be
is the religious group?
Judaism. There's plenty of religious groups that have tried to be genocided many times over, right? I mean, the British colonists here tried to do that with the indigenous people, tried to stamp out their culture by doing residential schools, right? You can't do it. Like they in many ways, quote unquote, succeeded. But like right now at Fort York, there is the Name-Rez Native Men's Reservation powwow taking place. That is still like, they're still doing it. You know what I mean? Like they did not successfully stamp out this cultural heritage. So, culture persists, nature really lives on. Like you cannot mess with nature. Nature always finds a way, but culture really persists too.
Let's see this. Cultural change refers to the alteration of mechanisms within the social structure characterized by changes in cultural symbols, rules of behavior, social organizations, or value systems. At a fundamental level, culture normally changes very slowly. Cultural stereotypes present great resistance to change and to their own redefinition because cultural mutations occur incrementally. This is interesting. This keeps coming up in all the conversations I have. Pretty much like I'd say
the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Yeah, I'd say like 9 out of 10 conversations this comes up in some way or form. Like whether not brought up by an individual, but it just kind of gets brought up in the research. We kind of land on this. The fastest documented cultural change appears to be the fall of the Berlin Wall and German reunification in 1989 and 1990. This represents extraordinary case where one cultural system almost disappeared overnight, while the other claimed sole and exclusive interpretation of arts and culture in the city. Here's what made this transformation so rapid. The change happened in a matter of weeks and months. The Berlin Wall came down on the evening of November 9th, 1989, during a hastily arranged international press conference. The opening of the Berlin Wall triggered a series of events that led to an unexpectedly rapid unification of the Federal Republic of Germany and the German Democratic Republic on October 3rd, 1990. This wasn't just political, it was a complete cultural transformation. The East German transition from a communist state to the part of the Federal Republic of Germany abruptly created a new social order as old institutions were abolished and new counterparts were imported. Entire ways of life, value systems, economic structure, and social norms changed practically overnight.
Wowza.
The change was triggered by a fumbled announcement in a press conference by the Socialist Unity Party chief of Berlin, Gunther Schwabowski. His announcement that travel restrictions for East German citizens would be lifted led to the wall's transit points being mobbed by thousands of East Germans.
Okay, I have something to say about what comes next.
Yeah, while the Berlin Wall represents perhaps the most dramatic single instance, other rapid cultural transformations include social media adoption. The rise of social networking platforms created massive cultural shifts in how people communicate and relate to each other within just a few years. Smartphone revolution. This changed daily behaviors and social interactions globally within roughly a decade. And then post 9/11 security culture. Security practices and social attitudes changed dramatically within weeks and months after September 11, 2001.
I have something to say.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the Berlin Wall, so I cannot comment on that.
Yeah.
I do know a lot about the history of technology.
Yeah.
And I call cap on this claim about rapid cultural change.
Call cap, why?
Everything has a history.
Yeah.
You know? Oftentimes when things look like they happen very quickly, it's often because they are on an exponential curve that is already moving. Social media adoption.
Which point? Yeah.
All three.
Really?
All three.
Okay.
It is usually the case. It is usually the case that there are antecedents, there are precedents to everything, right? So when you look at even security culture, it's very easy to say 9/11 gave rise to all this surveillance. But if you study the history of surveillance, pattern recognition software, facial recognition technology, optical character recognition, machine learning, all of the work started in World War II, continued through the 1960s at Bell Labs, among other places, funded by the NSA.
Yeah.
Not the NSA, the American security apparatus. Surveillance was well underway. The gathering of big data mining was happening in the 90s. All of this thing was happening before 9/11. And then 9/11 happened and it kind of latched on to this existing computational and social infrastructure to make it happen more. And that's when it became public knowledge. So this is an example. Let's give the other examples of social media and the smartphone. The cultural conditions by which social media and the smartphone can be rapidly adopted had to already exist in order for those technologies to become so ubiquitous.
And they did.
Yeah. So it's like the television already did a lot of that work. The radio already did a lot of the work of like isolating people into personal consumptive media habits. The television did an extraordinary amount to isolate people. Suburbia did a great deal to isolate people. If you read Bowling Alone by Robert Putnam, you find this analysis that points to the television as just this huge demolisher of social capital and social infrastructure. People are now spending 4 to 5 hours that they otherwise would have spent with other people watching TV at home by themselves. This is long before the era of social media. So it's like, that's a pretty massive culture change, but even that had to have some kind of antecedent. And so the more that I study history, the more that I am unlikely to view things as kind of this radical break, big cultural change, and more, how did certain technologies or events fit into a social fabric that was already primed by their arrival. So I'm not actually calling cap on the entire enterprise, but I do feel like there's something about this kind of language that makes it seem like, because also people will point to things like social media or the smartphone as being the causes of problems that existed before they happened.
Yeah.
Right. So there was the loneliness epidemic, if you want to call it that, or the people staring at their screens was already, if you read writings about the television, they're saying all of that exact same stuff.
Yeah. I actually was talking to somebody and who was like younger than me, and he was saying how he's like, I wonder what it was like on a streetcar or like on the train before the smartphone. Like, I guess people would just like
they were like,
he's like I guess people would just like get up and talk to each other. And I was like, nah, man. Like, no one was talking to each other, man.
They were reading the paper or whatever.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know about the paper.
On their buzzer or whatever.
Yeah.
They were doing something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so easy. I think like one of the biggest temptations that I think is very important in my work is like reducing the temptation to be like, things are so much like this now.
Yeah.
Right. Because a lot of things that are the way they are, you only think they are like that now because you weren't there before.
Yeah.
We are like, you were born when you were born, and you assume, it's very easy to assume that everything about it is the way it is because that's the way it is now.
Yeah. There was this book. It's called How to Read a Book by Mortimer J. Adler. Yeah. And he's like this American philosopher.
Yeah.
And in this book, I read, he was talking about something, and I was like surprised to read it because I think it's written in like 1960 something.
Yeah.
And he talks about how people's perspectives are like cassettes where they just kind of like hear something on the radio or like on the news or whatever, and then they just play it back like it's a cassette. Like they don't even know what they're talking about. And I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
It's like, that's like TikTok.
Yeah. There's a great quote.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
But I think like with this, what's interesting is, I think you're right that these things, and it's like a really good way to think that like everything you're looking, there's something deeper to it on the surface. Like you can always look more deeply into something and see how one thing connected to the next. I really liked how you referenced like suburbia, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not even just like the direct technological devices that we were using. It's not just like the TV or the radio or the Sony Walkman. It's like a lot of things, right? It's like the ability to produce a particular kind of chip, the design patterns and all of these like different values and innovations and stuff. They're all kind of like building on top of each other and constantly until we get to the point where we are today.
Totally.
But what I think is also kind of like random too is that it's like why do we associate these changes with a particular moment or a particular object or right? And that's interesting too. And I think it has something to do with the fact that the rate of change may be increased. There's an observable shift in the rate of change, right? And maybe when you're like in your house and you're watching TV and stuff, and you see something and you internalize those perspectives, and then you're walking around with those perspectives, that's influencing you, right? But maybe that's a little bit different. Like watching TV at home in your like living room or something is maybe a little bit different than like you're constantly on your device all the time. It's like an observable shift where we've gone from like, it was kind of like these isolated moments where like, let's say 20% of the human experience, and now they're like 60 or 70% of the human experience. And so it's like referencing these kinds of like shifts where the rate of change increased, right? And when you look at these like social media adoption, like for sure, like you're so right. Like there was other tools. There was like internet relay chat. There's email, right? There's like building personal websites, online games. Like this was already happening, and before like something like Twitter or something like this, or like maybe what we currently identify as like a big social media app. But
even beyond.
You know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean. I want to add two dimensions to what you said. One is you're talking about the rate of change.
Yeah.
I think also what plays a huge role here is aesthetic changes. Like the rise of social media and the smartphone is just a totally new aesthetic landscape. And so like when you imagine the kind of montage of cultural history what the 1960s look like, what the 1980s look like, what the 2000s look like. The 2020s, or 2010s, 2010 look like something very, very different. And so that's like a discernibly new aesthetic world that is like open to a different kind of cultural observation and critique. And it can be very overwhelming to be in this super rapidly imposed aesthetic cultural universe, right? Like the rise of short form video as like a medium happened so quickly, right? That's a great example of the type of thing that just happened so fast that it's like we're just in a whole new world, TikTok scrolling. I think what you were talking about just now was the kind of precedence of those things in the world of social media, like IM messaging and email and whatever. I'm talking about even broader than that, the antecedents that don't look like the same thing. So like television as an example, right? Like the world in which these things even make sense, like the world in which the like smartphone even makes sense to exist, had to be built a particular kind of way, right? People had to separate themselves at long distance, like globalization and the automobile. Like what are all the cultural antecedents that even made a technology like this make sense to have at all? And oftentimes that like what you might call the like socio-technical system, right? This super broad perspective on like asking yourself, what is the world in which this tool makes sense, right? If you imagine we are a society where everyone gets around by, tram or trolley or whatever, does the automobile even make sense in that environment? Or like, do we, in some ways it doesn't. And the automobile like lobby had to work very, 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 very hard to like destroy our collective sense that that's one way of getting around and that there should in fact be another. And then the implications that are huge for the way that people spread out, the growth of suburbia, new ways of living, new expectations of what people have for themselves in their lives. And then technologies come into that milieu, the television, the smartphone, whatever it is. And it just makes sense because like you are in a world where there is a demand for this thing. So even this kind of like what people will use or what people will need is in some ways a function of like the quality of the product or quality of the technology. But then in some other ways, it's a function, and that's why it can feel so rapid, because it's like we're almost like world building a new world with its own rules and its own social dynamics and its own technological gaps. And then a new technology comes in and fills that, and it's like boom, social media comes in and it's like it feels like it totally upends everything, but it's just one of many kind of broad scale transformations. And again, it's like it's hard to think this way.
Totally.
Because you got to zoom way out, and you need to like understand yourself and your life and your tools and your habits in like the way you live in such a broader scope of history. And it can be very uncomfortable, like, because you think it's very hard to situate yourself like that in such a broader story, because you kind of lose. It's like a little dizzying. You like lose the moment. You're like, where am I? What am I?
You keep going broad and broad, and then it becomes like existential.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But it's interesting. It only is rapid when you look at it in isolation. But when you look at it in isolation, you're not even factoring in the whole system.
Right. And it is rapid, right? But it's not rapid in this way that makes it seem like this one thing came in and changed everything.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, no, there's this massive structural global macro changes, and then this thing made some part of it possible or made some part of it faster. But if you just look at it on its own, you kind of lose most of the story.
That's really cool. Damn.
But the security clearance stuff, the security like surveillance state stuff is really, really interesting. And a lot of historians of science and technology right now, like one of the big topics people are working on right now is the kind of pre 9/11 surveillance state. Because I think it's really easy for people to be like, snowed in, all these revelations of what happened after 9/11. And that's just an excellent example of like, if the state can mobilize that quickly into doing mass surveillance, they already had the tools, right? So it's like, sometimes if things happen that quickly, like it was already there. You know what I mean?
What's the benefit of like thinking this way in terms of like, there's an obvious benefit in terms of like understanding things, because you can look at something specific and understand that or see how it might be connected to a lot of other different patterns, a lot of other things, divergent creations and formations of different types, whether it's like nature, culture, technology, science. Is there any benefit to it outside of just like is it beneficial to like influence change or like create change?
I have
or like making things?
At least 3 answers.
Yeah.
Number 1. All of the most creative, innovative, system change level people I know have a deep understanding of history and culture and the kind of broad scope of what they're doing. If you want to be able to think about the world enough to be able to believe that you can change something fundamental about it, you really need to have a kind of profundity of understanding that is like this holistic big picture thing. And so when I talk to the people I know who are doing like real high level stuff, they've got that understanding.
Why do you think it's important to like make change? Like, can't you just like fuck around and find out?
That is the kind of current paradigm. Yeah. I think that like that mindset, you can just do things, is kind of what a lot of people think right now. And I think that there is a utility to that as a smaller strategy within a broader project. Mm-hmm. But so the thing that I feel is that I have found experientially that the people I know who do this big stuff think this way. I don't think that teaching you to think this way will make you a person who does that big stuff. Right. Like, I'm not sure it's causal like that. I do know that it is my belief that if you teach people history, they will do interesting things. It's like the more context you have and the more information, the richer your understanding of the world. I think one thing it really serves to do is expand the imagination. Mm-hmm. Understanding the past helps you recognize that the present is contingent on the decisions and the actions of people. And we are no different than those past people. So the future is contingent on the decisions and the actions of us. And I think studying history is a really excellent way to do that, because you realize none of this can be taken for granted. None of this was given. All of this was made and all of this was chosen. So we are now the makers and the choosers. We are the writers of the story. It's very inspiring.
Yeah, it is.
And kind of scary. It's a bit of a burden to realize that that's the case. So I think if you want to get utility, instrumental about it, it has that utility. I don't personally like thinking about it that way.
Why?
Because
how do you like thinking about it?
I just like thinking about it as a worthwhile end on its own terms. Because it's not really my job is not really to tell people what to do with the information. I am there to share it. And then if people want to use it to become creatives or activists or community builders or whatever, because they walk around Toronto and it opens their mind, or I teach them about the history of something, or we study math or physics or science or technology or whatever, and it opens people's minds and they want to do something with that, that's on them and that's what I want them to do. But I can't say in advance what they're going to do. Yeah. But you can't do nothing. Right? You can't.
In general, you mean?
Yes. I think it's hard to learn all this stuff and just be like, okay, so, you got to do something. You asked about the flex around and find out. Can I curse on this program?
Yeah.
Frick around and find out.
Yeah, exactly. I do think that is the kind of current mindset, this like agency, whatever. I think nevertheless, when you talk to people who are making the moves at the highest level, they go deep. They're not like, they are strategic. They move slow. It's like frick around and find out is very fashion.
Yeah.
If you're trying to make change at the level of infrastructure, governance, culture, nature, you can use that as a way to learn. Yeah. Fast loops on the slow scale. But on the long scale, you got to understand things at the systems view, at the historical view, at the nature view. It's like, where did this ecosystem come from? When I talk to people I know, a good friend of mine is just like an extraordinarily inspiring activist and community organizer who fights on behalf of the people of Chinatown to be able to keep living there, anti-displacement work, and to protect, like to keep some of these communities in the hands of the people who live there, community ownership, community stewardship, this kind of communal land trust model of ownership. If you want to do that kind of work, you need to understand the very nature of the concept of property ownership. Like, where did that even come from? Like, the idea of property as something that can be owned is an idea. That's a concept with roots in like British legal theory or something, or political theory, that got embedded in some way into this culture, Toronto, as a British colonial project that stands antithetical to some indigenous way of doing it and some other culture ways of doing it. So it's like, how did that idea get here? And then in the present day, now in practice, what she's doing is like negotiating, with the private equity companies who are trying to buy the buildings and then going to City Hall. You don't need to understand the whole history of the concept of private property in order to do a good job at that lobbying, but you kind of do. If you really want that fire, if you really want to understand things at like the deepest systemic level, when we talk about systemic change, it's like, that's where it all comes from somewhere. And if you want to uproot it and change it, you need to go back to the source, like I was saying, to make that change too. So that's hard work. Like, that is intellectually painful, rigorous type of work. And I think, slow fashion cycles is where you can just do things. And then long culture and nature cycles is where you really need to go back.
It gives you a kind of conviction too.
Yeah.
When you go towards that thing, it gives you the confidence.
Yeah.
That sometimes it makes you go from like, oh, this would be interesting to know. This has to happen.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
needs to be done.
Right.
This is the right thing to do.
Yeah. I
think when you're not willing to go deep towards, like you're calling like the source, it's hard to get that energy where it's to fight.
Exactly.
To say, no, this has to happen.
Right.
Because the action and decision I'm making today is connected to, it's like what you were saying. I am able to stand here today and have this conversation with you because of actions that previous people took, and this is important, right? And super cool. It's 12:55. We should.
I got to bounce.
Yeah.
Well, we got through one of our 3 talking points.
Wires.
And that's all for wires today. Next time.
Can we put on music?
Well, we need that jingle.
Can we conclude with The Grip by
Yes.
Casey Roberts and the Live Revolution?
Yeah, The Grip by Casey Roberts.
The letter K and the letter C.
No, I'm sorry. Wait, the letter K and the letter C?
Just KC.
Oh.
K C. No. Just
Oh.
K C
I was
Roberts.
like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, banger. I
It's
don't know.
not
I don't
on
know if that's. I don't know
YouTube?
if that's gonna be. I don't know. Go to YouTube. If you go to YouTube, it'll be there. Yeah. It'll be on YouTube. Let's go.
Wow.
This is the energy. This is the energy we're bringing to Toronto the rest of the day. Can you turn that up, Tommy? We're here at the new stadium. Yeah. Internet Vin.
Thanks.
Tommy Trin.
Matty J.
Matty J 612.
612.
Parkdale Funk?
Oh yeah, baby.
Damn.
Come on now.
You really dive in.
We're keeping it local here.
I like the 3 Lions.
I started a funk music radio station in undergrad. On my university's local radio, just to be able to play Casey Roberts and the Live Revolution on the radio, because they're like a local Toronto band. They're unreal. I loved them in high school and undergrad, and I was like, no one, I gotta. No, none of my peers know who this is. So I started my own radio station just to play these guys on the radio.
It's cool. The artwork is cool. They got these like 3 lions and they're eating like something with like one of them has like a mic coming out, and then the trumpet in the back. Damn. Thanks for everything, man. I appreciate you.
Wow.
That was fun. I hope we could do it again because we need to.
I would love that. My homie's messaging me. I gave him a shout out too.
Yeah. Do you see it?
My homie Logan, who works at Anthropic,
Damn.
sent me a picture of me on this very podcast.
Damn, that's awesome.
Damn, this got high reach.
Yeah, maybe.
What kind of numbers are we doing here?
I don't know.
10 mil?
Yeah, something like that.
Do you want to do ads or what?
Yeah.
8 sleep?
I do.
What kind of mattress do you use?
I'll do anything for money, man.
You love money.
I love money.
One thing about you is you have so much money.
Tons. fucking tons.
That's just
What
one
kind of
thing about him.
are you a mattress guy?
I'm a tatami.
A what now?
Tatami kind of like I sleep on the floor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like every other billionaire, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's end. Mattress. ND. That was really fucking good. Damn.
All right.